Hey guys, it's Paul. So today I wanted to talk about my fellow colleagues, Yugitubers. So more specifically, what I wanted to talk about is the way that Yugitubers are sort of viewed in this community, oftentimes negatively. Uh, I guess you could call me you could say I'm a Yugituber, you might say. I've been doing this for a few minutes or so. YouTubing is interesting, and I think YouTubers' place in this community is pretty novel because it's changed a lot over the years, and I think that it's led to perhaps some confusion, perhaps some resentment, perhaps some idol worship in some cases, and I've seen it. You know, I've seen it reach a fever pitch. We've seen drama and stuff in the past, and it comes up every several months. There's always kind of the YouTubers you love, YouTubers you hate, your favorite people. I'm not really here to get into who I think is the best YouTubers ever, or who I think is trash. It's not that big of a deal. In fact, I should probably go ahead and say before I get into any of this, YouTube's not exactly easy. It might look like that from the outside looking in, but pretty much every YouTuber you watch is putting in a lot of work. It's not always difficult to think up videos, make videos, edit them, shoot them, publish them, making thumbnails and all that stuff. Keeping up that grind and that treadmill of content is really hard. I know I'm saying this, and some people are already like, "Oh wow, he's just lying and patting himself on the back or whatever. He's just all he does is make videos about Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not that hard." It's harder than you might think. It's certainly more involved than you might think. And if you want to grow on the platform, and this goes for also Yugi streamers, we'll even include them in, people on Twitch, like Distant Coder, for instance, or Farfa, who's kind of more known on the Twitch side of things as well. This is something that is difficult. It does take a lot of effort. So I don't ever want to undermine anybody's hard work or anybody's work ethic, because it's tough. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, this is actually sort of meant to just be a way of clearing things up and misconceptions. So first things first. I think YouTubers aren't any more than Yu-Gi-Oh players, and the sooner that you accept that and kind of come to terms with it, I think the sooner that you can get away from other problems that come from it. Let me just make an example, I guess. So I know there's a big fallout with SEMO, for instance, a few months back, or I guess a month ago or something. People were angry at SEMO on some group, Zodiac Duelist. They were mad. They were saying we're gonna unsubscribe from him. His content's stale, or he's saying this and I don't like it. And some people were upset with him because they felt like his tier list videos were incorrect, right? And so he had said around this time last year that he thought Adamanticators weren't going to be a very competitive deck for this reason or that. Maybe he said that they're prone to disruption and they maybe seem gimmicky. I don't remember exactly what he said. And so he made a tier list video and he placed them in tier 2 or tier 3, or he just thought they weren't going to be good. And as we know, Adamanticators around spring of last year ended up being very good, extremely strong, powerful combo deck with an extremely high ceiling, and they were, they were incredibly strong. They dominated. And so people were upset that SEMO had, I guess, underestimated them, and they were so mad about this. And I was kind of like, why are people mad about this? It's just a prediction. It's just a thing. And I think that is sort of emblematic of a bigger issue, which is I think people really hold YouTubers on these pedestals that aren't realistic. Just because a YouTuber says a deck will be good or a card will be good, it doesn't really mean anything, right? If I told you tomorrow that, Jerry Beans Man is going to be a great card, it doesn't mean it's going to be a great card. I know it's a meme or whatever, but I'm serious. People will watch these videos and I guess, take these people's words for heart. I know another example was somebody was really upset with Team Samurai, and the reason they were upset is because they said he said in some hero deck profile that Grand Merge heroes were the most competitive way to play the deck, and I disagree. And by I mean just this is the person commenting, not me personally. They were like, that's not right, that's wrong, he said that and that's a lie. But like, does that mean anything? Like, okay, to make it more clear, if I think that Blue Eyes is the best deck in the world, and it's maybe not, me saying it doesn't just suddenly make it any better than it is. The cards still do what they do. The deck's still gonna do what it does. If it wins tournaments, it wins tournaments. If it doesn't win tournaments, it doesn't win tournaments. My opinions don't really have a lot to do with that. So I think that that's something that people should maybe just keep in mind more when they're listening to what YouTubers have to say. If you're watching a deck profile and someone says like this deck is fantastic and amazing in tier 0, I mean, that doesn't mean it's tier 0. It means that maybe they think it's tier 0, and that's fine. They're entitled to an opinion. It don't, base so much of your kind of decision making with this game, like what you're gonna buy or what you're gonna play, solely on the opinions of YouTubers, because we're just human beings making YouTube videos. Like that's a thing. And then another thing people say is like YouTubers are hyping up card prices. This is something that like people accuse, like those market watch channels like MCO40 or House of Champs or whatever. Like they're saying they're hiking up these card prices maliciously so that they can cause buyouts and make big profits and all this stuff. I don't know if that's happening. I mean, I honestly doubt it. Like I just don't think that Yu-Gi-Oh is the type of game where like you can really expect to make some huge stonks on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Not really. Like if you had that kind of money, I don't know, you should have been investing in GameStop. I think that at the end of the day, like a YouTuber can't force you to buy a card. Like maybe they'll make the price of a card go up because of some silly buyout, but it'll go back down in like a week or two. Like that's usually how this goes. Don't take it so seriously, because these are just YouTubers are also just Yu-Gi-Oh players who just have opinions, and they can be wrong and they can be right. They're no more valid than you are. Everything I'm saying here is just my own opinion. It's not like the truth of every single matter. Like when I say that I think a deck is good, it doesn't mean it is objectively good. It just means I think it's good. If I think a card's good, I just think I think it's good. It doesn't mean it's like objectively the best thing in the world. So that's just something to keep in mind. Don't base all of your opinions on the game around YouTubers, and that way it'll be easier when they make a mistake to just sort of be like, whatever. So the next thing about YouTubers too is hating on them. Now, I know this is something that I've preached for a long time, and some people don't really want to hear it, but if you don't like a YouTuber, just don't watch them. There's not really any more reason to get angry than that. I see sometimes people in comments or like Reddit threads or Facebook threads or whatever will be like, I hate this YouTuber, he's this or he's that or whatever. That's a car going off in the parking lot. Okay, it stopped. Anyways, the point is, yeah, I'll see like threads and it'll be, I hate Team Samurai X1 because he's clickbaity and loud and fake and he screams all the time and he over-exaggerates everything. And I hate it. I can't stand him. But why, if you really hate him, then why is he even on your mind? Like, if you don't like this content, don't watch the content. And you don't have to, like, tell people that you dislike him or that he's the worst or that he sucks and you're unsubscribing and all that stuff. YouTube lets you block channels. Like, you can straight up prevent a channel from ever showing up in your, like, recommendations or in your feed or whatever. You can unsubscribe. You can block them on Twitter too if you want. Like, you can literally ensure that you almost never really see any of their content. Like that's a common complaint that people have about Sam, the whole like fake thing and all that. But as someone who's met Sam in real life, I think that he's actually an extremely hard worker. I think he's really pretty savvy about like understanding YouTube and how it works, and he puts a lot of work into his videos. They have really cool intros, really awesome effects. He brings great energy to the table. And I think that, his popularity is a natural consequence of that. So even if you maybe don't like him personally, if it's not your cup of tea to hear him shout and scream about how good cards are, that's fine. But I don't think that that's a reason to like actively hate him. That just means it's not for you. And the same goes for every YouTuber. If you find a YouTuber is too dull or too boring or whatever, you don't have to watch them, but that doesn't mean you have to like hate them for it. Or if a YouTuber said in some video 3 years ago that this deck was a low tier thing and you disagree with that and you've held it against them ever since, let go of it. It's not a big deal. That's just letting people like live in your head rent free. Like it's not a big deal. I mean, you know, YouTubers are just making videos. They're trying to get people to click on them. They're not hurting anybody. It's not really that serious. So yeah, that's just the thing. Like I said, it's harder work than it might look. So there's no real reason to hate on people, and also there's no real reason to put them on a pedestal. You don't need their permission or approval to play a certain deck or buy a certain card. Just, you know, get your information from as many people as you can and make an informed decision that you are comfortable with. We as YouTubers have a lot of influence, but we're not like the end all of this. So that's just something to keep in mind. Shout outs to all the YouTubers who are, you know, doing this. It's tough. Shout outs to all the fans who enjoy it. That's something that we really appreciate. And this applies to, you know, Team APS as well as any other YouTuber that you may or may not watch. All right, I've gone long enough with this video, so that's pretty much going to be it. I will see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.